Hey, hey, hands up! Late some diet. Feet hit the trail. Heartbeats race. Dust on my jacket. Wind in my face. Not about to finish. It's who you find along the way. Every blister, every sunrise, every hot and beautiful day. Head first into the unknown. Let's go chasing trails, yeah. Chasing trails, yeah. Every mud pit, every stone, we're gonna run and leave it all.
Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of the Chasing Trails podcast, brought to you by our friends and sponsors, the St. John Trail Running and Funny Coast Counseling and Resilience Through Fitness. Big shout out to those guys. We appreciate you being a part of what we're doing here at Chasing Trails. Jeff, great to see you. Here we are, episode number 2, getting back
sir.
in the groove. And I got to say, for those of you who are listening to this on your long run or whatever, Jeff is looking mighty fine today. He's wearing red, lady in red. Well, no lady in red, but that's an old song in the 80s. But yeah, you're looking good, buddy.
Thanks, man. Yeah, what Brad is referencing is my nice new Resilience Through Fitness hoodie. Devin was kind and sent us a couple hoodies and some merch in his sponsorship of our show. And I'm telling you, they are comfy hoodies.
Yeah.
This red one is like a normal fit hoodie. It's got the Resilience Through Fitness logo on it. And it's comfy. It's soft inside. Like it's a quality hoodie. And the light blue one that we got is one of the like oversized fit hoodies. I know those are super popular right now. They seem to be everywhere. Everything's oversized. Finally they've made hoodies for us, right?
They're catching on. They're catching on.
And so they're my two go-to hoodies right now. Like they're comfy. And so yeah, if you're looking for a new spring hoodie or something, Devin's also been kind enough to hit us up with a Chasing 20 discount. Now that is 20% off anything in the Gear Locker, and 20% off all coaching services too through Devin. Through Resilience Through Fitness, or one of his coaches. So, that's a pretty great offer with the show. And so obviously I know Devin does a lot of CrossFit, does some CrossFit training, does weight training, does run training. So, he's in there. He's got a coach for everything. And his Gear Locker's got some cool stuff in it too. Like if you haven't been to Resilience Through Fitness, Instagram or to their website yet, just go take a look. There's some cool stuff in there. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I still haven't gotten my hoodies yet because Jeff hasn't made his way to St. John at this moment. But once they do, I will be enjoying those.
We're in Norton this weekend, and we're in your neck of the woods for sure on Easter weekend. So maybe it'll be an Easter bunny present.
There we go. I'm looking forward to that.
A couple Easter bunny hoodies.
And without lingering too much longer, but I just want to say too, like I've benefited from Devin's coaching before, especially as I was working on my weight training. That was super helpful. It's really good process, lots of access. And a portion of all the sales from the locker go to help first responders. And we all know those guys go through crap. So we want to make sure that they're helped and supported in ways that we can. So it's a good deal. It's a good cause, and we want to just kind of direct you towards that. But as we get going, Jeff, maybe we should catch up. Like it's been a little bit of time. We didn't really get to talk in the first episode about how we're doing and catch everyone up. We were so pumped to talk to Lee.
Right.
But how you doing? Like how's running? How's life? Where you at?
Life's fun. Life's interesting. Been to urgent care twice in the last 2 weeks with kids, so that's fun. It's fun. We as New Brunswickers, we crap on the healthcare system on a regular basis, but because not the doctors or the nurses or the people working there, but just because it's overrun, right? But I tell you, all three times we've been there have been excellent here in Brereton, both at the ER with the nurses that were there and the doctor, and then as well over at the Brookside Mall clinic. So yeah, it hasn't been too bad, but we had my youngest run into the corner of a wall, split her forehead open, and actually just this morning, I was down on the treadmill getting my what was supposed to be an easy run in, recovery run, and two of my daughters come out, and I could see the like concern on their face, and I was like, oh no. I just pop out an earbud, and they're like, yeah, so Harriet cut her finger off with a bread knife, and I was like, cut it off? And they're like, well, cut it badly. I'm like, oh, that's a better way to say it. Like, let's not
Yeah,
say it's
right.
cut off. Anyway, it was quite wiggly, but it wasn't off. Anyway, yeah, so we had to get her in. We thought they were going to stitch it, but they glued it as well. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to invest in some like medical grade super glue and
Yeah.
just keep it in the house. You know, I've seen it done 3 or 4 times now. I think I could do it myself.
Yeah.
So it'll be good. But no, otherwise, like, running's going pretty good.
You got a new treadmill. You got a
I
new
got a
treadmill.
brand new treadmill from the folks at FitWorks Fredericton. They're not a sponsor of the show, but they can be, and I know the guy that works in there is a listener. So
Oh,
maybe he should reach out.
maybe they
Um,
should.
yeah, he actually just started following us this year. So
Sweet.
yeah. But no, it was an excellent experience actually. Yeah, I was running on my treadmill. This part was an excellent experience, but and I heard a really loud snap.
Oh,
And I was like, "Oh, that's not good." And so I immediately like got off and looked it all over and couldn't figure out what was going on. But when you put any weight in the center of the deck, it was just bouncing, like just caved in on itself. So
not good.
clearly I broke the deck. I'm a big guy, so I was doing an interval run and I was stretching it out pretty pretty speedy for me, and I think I put a little too much into it. And yeah, so we went down and we got a new light commercial Spirit treadmill. It's nice. It runs really smooth. Uh, it's good. And I got you know the kids are jumping on their training plans with
Nice.
more gusto than I ever thought they would. And so
Wow.
that thing's running at least like every second day. Like their plan is every second day pretty well, but it has a round of 3 or 4 kids on it every second day consistently. Uh,
Let's get
for
lots of use then.
for 45 minutes to an hour, depending what their training run is. And yeah, so they're really doing well. They've committed to doing tempo runs back to back. Like I'm trying to get them to do like my plan is a little bit, not quite as long, but yeah, trying to get them to learn how to get their speed up and their economy up a little bit. And so they're all taking to it really well. So all four of
Nice.
the 6 are using it quite a bit. So I would say it's good that we got kind of a more heavy duty one because it sounds
Yeah.
like it's gonna get run through the
That's good
races
though,
pretty
man.
good.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Not just because
It's
I'm a big guy, because it's gonna get used lots, right?
yeah, that's
So
right. That's right.
yeah,
I mean, getting lots of rotations.
yeah.
But it's interesting because you're talking about the guy at FitWorks. So I went to go see the foot doctor because I was having problems with like some of the nerves in my feet, just for the same reason, just the overweight guy pounding his feet on the treadmill, and I was starting to get like really sharp pain, like Morton's neuroma kind of stuff. And so I went in there and she asked me what I was doing and I told her the problem and started talking about trail running and the podcast and she really got interested in it because she wants to do loony loops. And so she had heard about loony loops. And so I got fitted for my first set of orthotics, which is just
Ooh,
like leveling up when it comes to being a senior. Like I am checking
makes
off
that beard look
some
even more
major
gray.
boxes here now, right?
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for a cane, and then we'll be all set. But anyway, so we got talking about the show, and the receptionist's boyfriend had run at Bootstrap, and so there's all sorts of connections there. So shout out to Dr. Reese. She was fantastic and was able to. Hopefully, she said she was going to check out the podcast. She signed up to listen, so hopefully she makes it through to the episode 2. I don't know if she's listening or not, but um, it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat to hear conversations with people in different spots that listen to the podcast. So
Mhm, mhm.
it's a lot of fun. But it's been my own running. We're kind of doing the same kind of plan. You've got a little more biking in yours, but it's been good. It's been hard, but I feel like we're in this great spot right now and able to kind of work on some of that plan. It's just nice to have a plan. You know what I mean? That you can
Right.
trust. Like
Yeah.
like when we're doing Chat GPT, like you don't know. Is this good? Is this not good? Like, what are we
Right.
doing?
Even
And
when you
this way
just
you
download a
have
plan off
someone,
the internet, you don't know, right?
right? So so having a coach, talking to someone who's giving you can give feedback to in real time. We're talking with a coach today on the show. It's just so valuable. I mean, I just feel so much more confident knowing that this is actually going to work versus what we're just trying to cobble together. Now, some people are smart enough to do that. That's not me. Like I'm not going to be able to do that. So having someone there to support you is super great and kind of help you with how you're thinking about things. So and give you a slap when you need a slap sometimes, right?
Oh,
And that's kind
I need
of
a long
what
slaps. Feel I feel
our
like
coach
I could
seems to be really good at giving you slaps too. So I think that's a great, it's a great pair.
yeah. I feel like I need a lot of slaps. Probably annoyingly so. And I don't know if they've started to work yet. I think it needs to hit harder. Maybe I shouldn't say that out loud.
No, you shouldn't have said that out loud. He's definitely listening. So it's gonna be
Yeah,
it's gonna be a next one. You're not gonna be ready for it. It'll be a
right?
good one.
Man, we were talking about this today, and I really do. I need that person to follow me around and just be my shadow and just slap me in the back of the head when I'm doing stupid things or like not training this. Like today, like I couldn't get the TV working, and I wasted like 25 minutes trying to get the TV to work just so I could watch Daredevil while I was running. And like I almost didn't have the opportunity to run because I wasted all my time working on the TV. Like I should just watch something different. But instead, I was like, because all the other apps worked, just Disney wouldn't work, so I couldn't watch Daredevil, and I was so annoyed. Like I could have just put something else on, which is what I ended up doing. But I was like, why did I just waste 20 minutes of my time trying to get this stupid show on? Anyway,
I
uh,
think that was a little of your ADHD showing on that
oh,
one there.
probably, yeah,
Yeah,
no
that was
question.
like hyper focus. Like that's
There's a
what it
lot
was.
of
It was hyper
yeah, there's
focus.
a lot of hyper focus involved in that. Yeah, that's a fair. I never thought of that, Brandon, but you're right. That's probably what that was. Yeah.
But it's like sometimes I like have you ever thought about just raw dogging a treadmill run though at some point in time? Just like, hey, I'm gonna do this maybe even for 10 minutes just to see if you have the mental capacity to be able to get through it.
I don't. I've tried.
Have
I
you
don't think
really?
I don't think I've made it 5 minutes. Like I can't do it. I mean, I'm sure I could eventually, and like if there were people there like forcing me to, like there was a gun to my head, I could. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I've tried it. And when we first got our treadmill, there was no like I didn't have a TV in front of it or anything like that. And I tried it, and just looking at the wall, I couldn't. I ended up putting my cell phone on the thing in front of me, and then I got a crick in my neck because I was looking down at my
Oh
cell
yeah.
phone while I was running the whole
Yeah.
time, and I
Yeah.
couldn't figure out why my shoulder and my neck were so sore. Like the first week I got a treadmill, I was like, this is stupid. Like why am I in so much pain? And then I realized it's because I was looking down at my phone. So I tried to do a run without phone, and I like 2 minutes. It felt like I'd been on it for an hour. I looked down at
Yeah.
the clock, and I was like, holy.
Yeah.
So no, I
It is like going
can't
in a
do it.
time machine. Like just time goes differently when you don't have
Right?
something to distract you. I did do like a raw dog 5K and it felt like a marathon. Like it was so long. But I had the exact same problem you did. I had like a phone that I would just put in front of the screen and I just like my neck and my shoulders were so sore. I could barely turn my head one time because I was just like looking at the screen the whole time. So
Right.
now
Yeah.
I've kind of put it up a little bit higher, but it's not ideal. But
At least you have a
it's
window at the gym where you run. Like, my
sometimes it's there. Other times, like if you don't get if the wrong people take the stupid treadmills and I have to use one of the crappy old ones, and it's just like staring at the front of a stupid motivational poster, like live,
oh,
love, laugh or whatever.
that'd be the
I'm just
worst.
like,
Okay.
shoot, I'd rather be fat. Like that's honestly, I'd just rather be fat than have to have to stare at that forever. It's just like, I'm taking it. I don't
Sure.
care. It's not worth
Yeah.
it. So
Just end up at Tim Hortons getting a Boston cream instead.
yeah, exactly. I was like, I'll hit that up. But oh man. So those are the things that coaches can help with when you have runs like that. So
Sure.
we're excited. We're gonna have Jon. Jon has a last name, but it's Dutch, and we tried to pronounce it. It's hard, and so we're not going to pronounce it today, at least at the beginning. And Jon is a coach with Waybound Running. He's been involved with Kelsey Hogan and Adam, and we've had them on the show before, and it's super exciting to have that conversation with him. And you kind of just start to get to know him, and his heart for coaching people is really evident. And so we hope that you'll enjoy this conversation with him. And stay tuned after, because Jeff and I break it down a little bit and talk about our takeaways. And so we want to invite you to stay tuned for that. But before we do that, just one more thing. How about our theme song? Like, it is, I hope you're able to enjoy our theme song, because I worked hard at that thing, and I hope that it's like I when you hear it, and you know us, I don't think you're surprised at the tone in which that song was composed, but it feels like it reflects us pretty well. I thought, like, it gave that kind of Three Doors Down, like, alternative kind of feeling to it, and gets you up in the morning. I thought it'd just be fun to listen to on the way out the door as you're running. So we hope that you enjoy that little aspect. We
Yeah,
were
I could tell you worked hard on it because
yeah, man, I was like,
you
Frank, I
you
really
went
wanted to get one.
radio silence for like 3 days, and then all of a sudden, like 4 or 5 edits came out. And I was like, oh, that's what Brandon's been doing.
Yeah. We were getting into some trouble with our old theme song, which was a slapper, man. Like, it was a good theme song.
Yeah,
But there's all these rights and stuff now that were being contested, so we didn't want to get in any trouble and didn't want to have to pay anybody. So we were
now that we're a big deal, they're
yeah,
noticing
yeah,
us.
that's right. We gotta maintain. But anyway, so hope you enjoyed that. But that was, I just wanted to throw that out there before we jumped into our conversation. But we hope you enjoy this conversation with Jon from Waybound Running. All right, everyone. We are thrilled to welcome into the Chasing Trails studios Jon from Waybound Running. Jon, I'm not going to try and say your last name. We tried to do it off before we recorded. It didn't go well, but it's so awesome to have you on the show with us. Thanks for being here.
Same, guys. Honored to be here. We're looking forward to our conversation.
Yeah. We have kind of circled around similar different people in the trail running community, but we've never connected before. And so it's been really cool just checking out the whole Waybound Running website and looking at your coaching philosophy. And I'm really thrilled to get into that a little bit tonight. But I wanted to start by hearing your running story. That's how we always start off with a guest, and just hearing how you got into trail running. What is it about trail running that you love? So can you kind of walk us through how you got into it?
Okay, I'll try to keep it short, and please cut me off if I continue for too long.
No
Um,
worries.
uh, I think like I've been running for a while. Like well, okay, let's start off. I'm grew up in the Netherlands, so it's kind of like a little bit of a different background than most of your guests. I played soccer growing up. I was terrible at it. The only way I could keep up is by like running like I mean 3 times, so I can at least like like keep up with people. And yeah, so I always ran through high school in the summers mostly, but yeah, I was running a bit, and I did some road stuff. But my trail running journey started about like 10 years ago, a little bit over that. My partner and I, we moved to the UK. Yeah, we lived in London, so like there's not a lot of trails in London, pretty flat. But I ventured out like on one of the weekends that my partner was gone for work, and I went to Wales. It's like my second home still. I feel like it's my second home, and you got the most stunning mountains there. You might not think of it, but it's beautiful out there. It's very rocky, very gnarly, like just yeah, tough conditions.
Yeah.
I went there all by myself in the winter. I think it was the first week of January, like to this little mountain town nobody was there. Everyone feels like everyone was sleeping. Um, and I just went to train there. I mean, I didn't just went to train there. Um, I had it in my mind to do 100 miler. Um, and back in those days, like this is a while ago, so maybe you probably can relate, maybe or not. Like it's like the start of like the YouTube fandom hype around like trail running. Like you just got the first influences like Jamil Curry or like the Ginger Runner started then.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember those guys.
Yeah.
So I was triggered by it, or like interested, like, oh, that's cool. And then I found a race in the UK, and it had a stunning website. Yeah, so I was like, okay, let's do this. Like, like I did a road marathon. Like I can do a I can do 100 mile in the mountains. Why not? Um, so yeah, I gave myself 4 or 5 months to train for it, and I went in the mountains there. I asked the director, like, can I register? And like, well, you have to have done like a similar race or distance. Like I haven't done anything, and there's no time to do anything. So I was like, well, okay, show me just a few big runs. So I went there on a weekend, did some longer back to backs. Had no idea what I was doing there, but I fell in love with like just being on the trails. Like later on I thought about it. I was like, I have actually never summited a mountain in my life before. Like growing up in the Netherlands with my mom, like we didn't even go hiking, like let alone like go up 1,000 meter climb. So I was there on my own, enjoying nature all by myself in the rain, in the cold, and maybe a lost man with a dog, and that's it. It was just beautiful, and I felt alive, and it was like, I don't know, it was like a pivotal moment in my life. I feel like since then I was like, okay, I got to come back to this place as much as I can, and I did. Yeah, that's where it started, and since then I've done a bunch of longer distances or long distances, and yeah, now we're here.
Yeah. And so for races, I know you've done Cocodona 250, you've done the QMT 100 miler, and there's a couple European races that you've done that, again, I don't think I could pronounce the names, but you seem to like the longer distances. Is there anything to that? I mean, 100 miles is long no matter which way you cut it, but 250 is like a whole other different beast. Like, is there something about that longer distance that appeals to you?
Yeah, several things. I mean, first of all, like since I like started running in Wales in the mountains, my benchmark was like not like on par with most people, because I just thought like trail running is in the mountains. You just climb up and down and on stairs and whatever. And then I came to Canada, and I did QMT for the first year, and I'm like, okay, that's 6,000 meters of climbing. I was like, okay, that's decent. But then I was like, okay, like this first part is like so runnable. It's like, but now if you ask me now, I'm like, no, that's a tough course. It's a lot of climbing. So my
Yeah.
benchmark at the beginning was like, okay, like things have to be properly mounted. And now I'm like, I kind of lost all of that, to be honest. Um, and the other part is probably like I'm just getting older, so like I can't keep up on the shorter stuff anymore. So like Coconut is probably like it's where I probably excel the most, because like it's just slow, and yeah, I can grind
Yeah.
it out. Yeah.
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 No, that makes sense. I think too, um, there's certain personalities I think that resonate with the longer stuff, and just as we get into talking about your mindset running, I think that plays in really well with the longer distances too. I mean, because it's multi-day. It's something that is going to challenge you and stretch you. Um, but in the meantime, you also got into coaching. So tell us
Yeah.
how did that transition go? You're running, and then all of a sudden, hey, I'm going to start coaching. What was that process like for you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not like a light that switched on or something. It was like not like some random pivot in my career or something, because I still like do the work that I'm doing. Um, and my background is like I work in international development, human rights lawyer, and I still very much enjoy doing that work. I do a lot of like sort of like more critical research work, which is I mean, I'm passionate about that work. I hope to do it the rest of my life, probably, at least in some sort of way. But it's also like like I always tell people, like it drains my energy. It sucks me dry. And then if I compare that to like coaching, like it just gives me so much energy. Um,
Yeah, wow.
and I had been like helping out friends here and there, and people ask me questions like, "How did you do that?" And I'm like, "Can you help me prepare for this race?" So then, like, yeah, about exactly a year ago, I think, like it sort of like started more officially my training practice. Yeah, and I started in a way that's like, I don't know, let's just help maybe a handful, two handful of people and do it as a side business. And it's become my primary work at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah. I can say farewell to my other work, but I actually kind of still want to continue doing it. So yeah, I've been trying to find a good balance between the two. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'm always curious, how does it work for you as a coach bringing on people to coach? Is it kind of like dating? Like, do you need to have the right chemistry, or is it just kind of transactional? Like, hey, this is what you need to do. Here's the sheet. Go do this. Call me if
Yeah.
you're having a problem. Like, how do you approach it? I always wonder how different coaches deal with it.
Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah. I mean, it is kind of like, like dating indeed. Like, you got to match, you got to swipe right, both of you. And that's like if you don't, like, just yeah, you end up in misery. And like for me, like that's really important. I always offer anyone who starts working with me like um all the time they need to decide whether they want to commit to me as a coach. Um and I know I have the privilege to do it because I have another job. So like I started doing this pure pure for the pleasure that it's giving me, and so like I can give people that time um to explore that. And yeah, you grow together, right? Like so that's the thing. And everyone is so different. Like I'm coaching almost 30 people now, and everyone is like entirely different, and that makes it really fun. Like like you come in it from an entirely different angle every time, and I learn so much from everyone, and I value everyone as much as uh, equally. Yeah.
Wow. Um, do you coach people just locally in your area based in Montreal, or do you have it spread out?
Uh, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people like in Montreal that I coach, because like word of mouth and stuff, that helps. Um, but uh, no, I have spread out over to Canada, uh, US, obviously like being Dutch, have a bunch of Dutch athletes that I coach. Um, two of your friends, Adam and Kelsey, I coach.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so all around. Yeah,
Spread out.
yeah,
Um, is there something that you get out of coaching that you don't get out of running yourself, like out of racing yourself? Like, can you kind of compare and contrast those things for us? What are some of the struggles or joys from comparing those two?
yeah. I mean, you caught me at the right time because now probably everything I take out of coaching because I'm just getting back from an injury, so I'm
Yeah,
not doing much running myself. Um, yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's a balance that I'm still trying to figure out myself because I get so involved in runners, and like like Kelsey was running in Transcam Canaria, and like
yeah,
obviously like it's through the night, like she's not sleeping, but I'm not sleeping either. Like it's just
yeah. That's so true.
you get so stuck in it, and that's the beauty of it. Like I can just you know be a supporter on the side, live vicariously, and then get up the next day and pretend nothing happened because my legs are feeling fine. So that's yeah. I mean that's such a I'm so grateful to be able to do that, and for everyone, like like I train I train folks that are training for their first 10K half marathon up to like 500 kilometers. So
Yeah.
everything in between. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one thing that struck me when I was just doing some research on you was that I love the breadth that you offer. I mean, just to be able to, when people think of coaching, they think, well, I've got to go for like the big distances. But the fact that you're willing to help people just, I mean, not just achieve, but to be able to achieve a 10K. Cause I remember what it was like after I ran my first 10K, it was huge. Like it was a huge deal.
Sure.
And to be able to have support to be able to do that, I just think that's such a great and beautiful thing that you're doing, to be able to help people no matter where they're at on their running journey. I mean, that must be rewarding for you.
It's so rewarding. Like, I mean, it's that, but it's also like, like I have athletes coming from back from an injury, or at least that are struggling to even like start running because they have to come injury and a lack of confidence in running, just being able to run. And it's for me, it's so beautiful to see, uh, people pick that up and be so strong. And like, like for me, when I train and I train hard, like for Cocodona, and I put in 110-mile weeks and I do 3 workouts, and like I'm able to hit a sub 16-minute 5K, like those training weeks, like they're hard, but like they're okay. I can manage them. But now I'm injured. I have to build confidence in myself again that I can run. That's a lot more hard for me, like than all those other weeks.
Yeah.
So for someone to like having to like overcome all of that and being able to like um find a good rhythm, that's huge. And then like like once you're there, like like you can go so far. um, so yeah, I mean, I take enormous pleasure in just seeing people, achieve all those goals, and yeah, I love doing
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
So that's a good segue though into your whole running philosophy. That was honestly, I think you put a post on Instagram talking about addressing the why of running and the whole your mindset philosophy. Like you deal with people's mindsets as much as you do with, their splits. Um, and I thought, to me, that struck at something deeper than just running. Um, and it's something oftentimes when you can hover around the surface around running and it just becomes all about metrics that are, tangible metrics, but there's more to it than that. And so can you just kind of explain and maybe highlight some of the philosophy that you hold as a coach and what Waybound running is all about, and just kind of do a deep dive with that for us?
yeah, I'll try to, because if you ask me tomorrow, I'll probably say something entirely different. And
Fair
and
enough. For
and
tonight, for tonight,
I
tell us what it is.
yeah, different for tonight. Yeah, I'm terrible at pitching. Um, and um, yeah, so at JVU in sales, I think like I used to work in sales, and I'm just yeah, I'm not good at it. But um, yeah, I really appreciate the way you framed it. I think that's what I do try to do with my coaching. Um and the why, with the why, I really focus on just the person, like um especially now um we can download a schedule, we can download a running app that gives us an algorithm, and it kind of like performs. um, but it's not focused on the person, and we are all so different, and we have our lives, and that like, and even with our lives there's so many things that like fluctuate. And when you get another child, like what are you gonna do? Like like you just you have to work around it. So I try to be extremely adaptive to the person, and work with them, um, trying to figure out like why they wanna run. One of my first questions I ask people is like, not like, I mean, I'm interested obviously in like what goals you have, like like what do you want to train for, but I'm also very much interested in like who do you want to become as a person and a runner, and like who do you want to become on the long term, and even just like at the end of the year, like who do you want to be. So, and that can be like a minor thing. People usually say minor things, and then like we go into that, and yeah, and we try to take that with us, and when we do a race, like we focus on that, and like when there's like adversity or whatever happens, like we can always come back to the why, and that why will always be there. So you
Yeah.
always, grow into that person, even if a race doesn't turn out the way you want it, or you just even can't do a race, like you can still enjoy the process and you can still focus on that and then go into the person you want to become. And in the end, that's what, what will stick with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious, and maybe I don't know if you can answer all this, but when people are asked that question, who do you want to be in this running thing? What are some of their answers? I mean, I'm just trying to think of that question myself as you're saying that. Like, who do I want to be as a runner? That's a huge question.
Yeah.
What are some of the answers?
I mean, I think it varies from like, I want to consider myself a runner, uh, to like, I want to compete like and win races, like in anything probably in between, and different, like up and down. And yeah, and that's, I mean, that's, and we gotta work with that. Like like everyone has like their own goals. Like I got a bunch of folks that are um really good at competing, and they can do that. So we focus on that. But I also have a few athletes that are extremely creative and adventurous, and sometimes like one and the other doesn't really go ideally together. Um, I mean, on paper they don't, right? So like, uh, let's say an athlete wants to train for a race and do really well there, but like they also like to go skiing, and they go on a holiday for 2 weeks to Florida when they are training for like a mountain race. Yeah, obviously that's
Yeah.
not ideal, but
Yeah.
we're thinking about like who you want to be, and what it gives to you, and if that gives you so much pleasure, and it makes you like a better person, like I'll take that over a good week of grinding, somewhere at home, So um, yeah, I don't know if I'm answering your question now, but uh, different answers that I'm getting is like, yeah, I want to compete better. I want to explore what it is for me to do an ultra. Um, yeah, all sorts of things. Yeah, I want to get. I want to find a good structure that's I can maintain. I want to be able um, to run when I'm on paternity leave. Yeah, all sorts of things. Yeah.
Yeah. I think what I think why that resonates so much with me, and Jeff, I think you've had this moment too. You can chime in here if you disagree, but I think there comes a point where you can do running, or you can run ultras or do trail racing on a superficial level, but there comes a point in time where things get really hard. You kind of start pushing the limits of your physical capacity, and then the why you're doing something becomes way more important, and that's the thing that will carry you through some of the harder stuff. If you don't, like, I feel like if you don't have that clarity around what your why is, then you don't have that source to dig from when you're really when you're really suffering, right? And maybe I'm out to lunch on that, but it just seems like it's tapping into something that's deeper than just trying to finish a race. And there's gold there, I think, somewhere.
Do you agree,
Yeah.
Jeff?
Yeah. Do you think that, Jeff?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think even in the sense that like sometimes you put like so much time, it's not always like your physical capacity getting dealt with, or you're right at the end of your physical capacity, but like you're training 15 hours a week, and if you don't have another reason to do it other than just the training, then it's you're not going to do it because it's no one has unlimited time in their day. For me, I find too, like I find it easier to think of the bigger reason why I train and why I trail run. I want to stay healthy. I have a bunch of kids. I want to be able to grow old and see my kids as they get older. I don't want to die young because I was unhealthy. What I find hard is finding that why in the moment of the pain in a race that didn't go well. Like for me, because that bigger picture's there, but it's like sometimes I struggle to find a why. Why am I still doing this when I'm in so much pain, right? And so I don't want to give up, but I don't know why I'm still doing it. And so, it's funny how, like, if you could divide, I don't know if you should divide the two or not, or if that's even relevant for other people, but maybe I just haven't found the real big why or whatever. But I find like maybe there needs to be two almost in some way.
Yeah. Well, if I can go on a little tangent,
Yeah,
um,
please do.
um, I mean, I think a lot of the answers to the why is related to like finding connection with yourself and with your environment and nature. I mean, we all love nature. Um, Running is part of who we are as human beings. Like it's essential to us. Like we grew to how we are because we're runners. I mean, we talked about before, like about like people say like, oh, once you run a 5K, you're a runner. So once you run, you're a runner. I'd say like everyone's a runner, even if you haven't run. I mean, you run as a toddler, but like everyone is a runner. Um, it's just part of our nature, and we live in a society where there's so much noise, like in all sorts of way, distractions and stuff, work obviously, but like yeah, having to fit in running, and so part of that is like finding presence in when you're running, and finding that connection with yourself. I talk a lot with about nervous system regulation with my athletes. Probably sick and tired of me saying that, some of them at least. But it's super important to like keep yourself present and feel that, and that will help you deal with all the things that you're struggling with when you're on a long run. Where did I want to go with this? I'm just saying that it's part of that is sort of connecting with your body and with your mind, um, and therein lies a lot of the why answer, or the why question. Like it's um, I can relate to races where I felt the most comfortable is when I felt like the most present with myself and my environment. Or like even like in a training run, or like you went on like a long run, maybe it's been a while, but you went out alone or with a friend, and you just had so much fun, and you finished the run and you didn't feel like you just ran for 6 hours and you climbed 2 mountains. Like it just happened. And it's because like everything's calm and you're so connected with yourself and your environment. And for me, that's the why. I mean, that's, if I have to answer that,
Yeah.
that's why I run. And it's not like the specific goal or any of the metrics that we're trying to capture. It's that feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you've opened up a whole like Pandora's box here that I really want to jump into. I'll try and be selective. Okay. One, I want to hear about nervous system regulation. I'd love to hear about how that works because I'm pretty sure I don't do it. The second thing I want to hear about is how do we deal with like those of us when you talk about being present with your body, a lot of us are just like I don't know what that means, and we're like not emotionally intelligent, we have no clue how we're feeling half the time. I'm talking to myself in the mirror here, I'm talking to Jeff, we're both like those kind of people that we're like I don't even know what I'm feeling, like we need the little feelings wheel to just kind of point out where we're at. Like how do guys like us who are like one step away from cavemen be able to be present with ourselves as we run, and what does the nervous system have to do with all that too?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like I didn't know about it until all my wheels fell off in a big race, and I kind of started reflecting afterwards, like, and I had good conversations with my coach who helped me as well, and yeah, so I did a little bit of digging before, like after, and um um the first time I noticed it, I was training really hard for a race in Switzerland. It's called the Swiss Peaks. It's one of the toughest races. It's like Tour de Jean, but like a bit less familiar. Um, and I trained my butt off. Like I was, yeah, making crazy hours on the trails, and I was the fittest maybe I've ever been. And I went there on my own, um, and There was a lot of things happening before the race. A lot of things happening in terms of like just traveling. I was visiting friends. I was visiting Adam and Kelsey in Chamonix because that was the weekend before. So I was in that whole sort of like circus. And yeah, and then I started the race. I did pretty well. I felt really good and strong, and I was like even at some point leading the race, like 60K in or something. And then I lost a turn. I made a wrong turn, and it probably cost me like 15 minutes only, 10 minutes maybe. Um, and I mean, normally I don't get too bothered by that. It happens, like, and we know that's part of trail running. It happened twice, and I just from there on I started spiraling. I started getting worse. Um, and at one moment I was feeling strong. I was like climbing, hiking up the mountains really easily, to one moment not being able to walk on the flat anymore. And like I started to lose vision. Like one eye was almost like didn't see anything. The other one's like maybe 20%, 30% maybe. I still had a ton of climbing to do to get to the aid station. So I was physically and mentally entirely gone. And I didn't know why. Like I was eating, like I was normally doing. I'm like, I don't know what happened. So I had to quit. I had to stop that race. I did another race a few days later. My coach told me like, you got to bank on the fitness you have, and just hop in another race. Same thing happened. It's a different story. It's uh, one of the stupidest things I've done. But same thing happened. And then I got home and I'm like, oh, this sucks so much. Like, I mean, I didn't DNF that race, but like I had a terrible experience. Um, um, and I just got home and I didn't know like why am I feeling this? And then I started like, okay, like, so my stomach was a terrible mess. I was not getting any energy in. Um, I was running on fumes for, I don't know how many hours. And yeah, I hired a nutritionist and try to figure out like why was I having any GI issues and stuff? Like why was that? Why was it like at a 6 hour mark or something that I just ran on empty? Um, and I started experiencing other things, and yeah, and then I sort of kind of hit me that like like leading up to it, like there was so much stress in my life. Um, I started the race where my um, nervous system was already pretty dysregulated. My stresses were like already stacking up each other, and then like when something happens, like you make a wrong turn or you get passed by somebody, and like things start to add up, and then like at the point where like your body is going into like a fight or flight mode or beat and bond. Um, and at that point, like, yeah, my body just shut down. Like literally your stomach shuts down. Like, that's what happens, right? So, um, um, yeah, that's when it first hit me. And then I started thinking about it and reading a little bit about it. And, yeah, so I work a lot with my athletes and on this, like, like we look at like a traffic light, like you want to be in the green zone of the traffic light. You want to be calm. Um, um, Especially for like ultras, like like we're not doing 100-meter sprints. We don't have to hype yourself up and like get ready for it.
Right.
Like you're not gonna get fired if that's the way you approach an ultra. So you want to be calm and you want your stress levels to be minimal, so you can like use all of that to your running, and you can eat normally, and you can take in all the gels and whatever, right? Uh, if your stress levels are super high, you're gonna have a lot of troubles like taking in gels. And a lot of factors will influence that. Like the heat will influence that. If you're competing, other competitors will influence that. If you're chasing cutoffs, that will give you a lot of stress. Um, so we work on like how can we like sort of like mitigate that? Like how can we rebalance that? Like if you get into that orange zone, that's okay, but we can get back. We can do some briefing. We can do some other techniques like for me, like what works really well is like cold exposure. Like that's the best thing that I can do for me. Um, Other things like grounding yourself, like just taking your time. Yeah, all those things help really well to sort of like regulate your nervous system.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense too. Um, yeah, that's fascinating. I mean, just the way our our bodies work. And you got to pay attention. I mean, I think everyone feels nervous at the beginning of a race, but just, just realizing those things stack up and get in the way. That's really interesting and helpful. I appreciate too, like just having awareness of where you're at when you're running. I mean, that's one thing. We're just like, you just put your head down and try and charge through it. I mean, you could probably gut it out if it's not too far, but if it's, longer distances, like there's a chance where you're not going to be able to do that for the whole way. Are there things that you teach that help us realize, all right, I need to just start being present? Is that where the grounding and all that sort of stuff, the breathing comes into play, and just say, hey, listen, I need to recognize what I'm feeling right now, what's going on in my body?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you've explained that really well. Like, yeah, like it can be little triggers that like signals that you feel coming up, and eventually those signals might turn into a nausea or whatever. And it could be like something simple as like you're at an aid station and your partner is not there because she's too late or too early or whatever. Like she's not there, and you have to like go alone. You're missing. I don't know if you're jealous or you're like a bit upset or whatever. So you go into the next section, and yeah, you're already like everything is heightened already, like in
Yeah.
the nervous system, and so then the best thing to do is calm yourself down and like say, okay, like I still got enough. I'll just meet her at the next aid station. If that doesn't, that you find a way, like we always find a way. So yeah, like, but like that can happen. And then like if something else happens, like let's say like you're running that next section and your bottle falls out of your vest and like you lose all your water. Like, okay, now I'm like, I also don't have any water. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, I still have an hour left, Um, and instead of like, okay, like now I'm gonna have to rush the next hour and like have to go a lot faster, and then you blow up, and then like, or like start losing coordination and you fall, and like it's just like a cascading effect of poor decisions and poor, just like everything falling down. So like, yeah, we try to listen to all the signals and stay calm. And a lot of that is like making decisions before you start racing. So prepping yourself to like, okay, if this happens, like, like go through all the scenarios that could happen, if then, and then eventually, like the more you race and the more you experience those things, the easier, like
Yeah.
more automatic it will go. Yeah.
Yeah. It really makes more sense to me. Now why you take the approach that you do, just dealing with the whole person, because I'm just thinking about our own lives. Like if we're carrying stress from work or family, like, I mean, Jeff's got a new baby, like just life changes, like that brings things to the table. You're already coming to your training, to the race with stuff from outside of racing. And you're trying to kind of process all that. So you're almost kind of working in a deficit at times before you even get to the starting line, because you just got regular life stuff that's causing stress. So, is there a way to kind of help bring that all into place? Like, how do you kind of incorporate just real life stuff with also running?
Yeah, I mean that's great that you highlighted that. Like, and I mean I think I mean you can change what your life. That's just happens, like you can push your baby back into your partner. Like it's just you have it, right? Like it's just what it is. Like um, so you just got it. That we all accept that. The only thing is what we can do is just be aware of that. All right, like that's the first step. Like knowing that, like okay, like like I used to be able to like push this section and like could do this in an hour and a half. But I don't know, like now, like, with all these things that I'm carrying, like maybe I shouldn't force myself to try to do it in an hour and a half and just, like, yeah, uh, be aware of that. And then like, try to find ways to like, mitigate some of the other stressors. And, yeah, um, I think it kind of context specific, but like, yeah, I think it starts with being aware of that. and knowing sort of your limitations that you just have to deal with in that sense. Yeah. But then also like I was just thinking about this too, like, I'm training people like Kelsey and other like very talented runners that are competing at the highest level. And like when I like to compete a little bit too, but like not at the same level. But like I always go into a race and I'm like, oh, I missed that week of training and I had this happening and I slept so bad and then I had a deadline for work. And it was like terrible, my build up. So like, like I'm not prepared for the race. Like I'm not like, it's not a beautiful build up that I had. And then I look at all the athletes that I'm training, like, yeah, you haven't had a perfect build up too, because life happened. And yeah, sometimes we think like, okay, like these people are so fast because they had the perfect build up and whatever. And maybe some have, but like, most people have to deal with life. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that's so good. And as we wrap up, I'll give Jeff a chance to ask questions here. But I just think that's. I had a question like, what separates your philosophy from other coaches, and I think that's it. Like, it's not just metrics. It's not just about making sure that you get your runs in. It's I think you've answered it, but maybe I'll give you a chance to elaborate a little bit more. But it's allowing all of life to kind of be incorporated into running, because I think we kind of chunk it off at times, where we're just, all right, we're going to segment this part of my life off from everything else and just think, and then we wonder why is it suffering, because we don't take into account anything else.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, I think what makes a coach is that like we look beyond just the data. I mean, if we would just look at the data, like we would just like an algorithm, and we're human beings, like, so we have an important relationship with our athletes, and I try to make it as a real relationship and not as transactional as possible. And I wanted to say something, I went on a sidetrack. I was sidetracked now. Wait, what was your question again?
No, I think you answered it. Like, it
Oh
is
no,
just.
I remember
Go
what I
ahead.
was saying now. Yeah, we were talking about data, and I got into other data stuff. Yeah, so for me, like, it's really important to just also know what's happening in your life as much as you can share with me. So if I look at like at the Training Peaks or wherever you spreadsheet, and I see like you ran like, I don't know the context around it. Like, I don't know if you had a bad night's sleep, if you had a very long day at work. Like, there's no way I can interpret that. So for me, it's like, that's more important. Like, yes, like, like there's people that like try to run a sub 3 hours marathon, or like fast times, and yeah, I'll go into the data. Like, I love doing that too. But I need to know more. What's most important for me, like, is like, what is your energy level and what's your mood at the moment, and that's what like we can steer with as well. So yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Jeffrey, you got anything to throw out there before we wrap up?
No, I don't. I do think that it's really cool what you're doing. From people, just doing their first 5K to more professional athletes. That wouldn't have been something I would have assumed was the case. Because I'm the type of person who's like, well, what I'm doing doesn't really deserve coaching in some ways, right? But you're proof that that's not necessarily the case, and so I think that's cool, and I think people can probably get a lot from it, from a perspective of, you almost sound like a life coach as much as you are a running coach, and so I think that's really neat.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
Appreciate that.
Jon, if people are interested in having you as a coach, where can they get a hold of you? How can they contact you? How can they find out more?
Yeah, probably easiest my Instagram. I have my personal account and my Waybound account. That's the easiest. I have a website, wayboundrunning.com, I think is the URL, if I'm correct. I'm not sure. Yeah, those are the main channels. Yeah.
Awesome. So thanks so much for being with us, Jon. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. You too. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Brief. All right, Jeff, that was a really good conversation with Jon, and I wish I could say his last name. I really want to try it again, but I don't know.
Do you even remember it?
It was like, I just remember the guttural part. It was like Jon van Geuns. you know,
Well,
so
yeah.
something like that, right?
He didn't even want you to butcher it. He was like,
No,
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 Bob,
yeah, yeah.
you're gonna do it wrong. Yeah, absolutely.
No. So John from Waybound. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought that was such a good conversation. And here's my biggest takeaway. Because we've had Kelsey on a couple of times on the podcast, and I'm always struck by her approach to running. It's always a little bit different than what we hear from other people, isn't it? Like she's just got a little bit more thoughtfulness around it and just appreciating what she's doing. And I caught some of that from John. You know what I mean? Like I could hear echoes, traces of John in Kelsey. And I don't know if that's on purpose or if it's just because they're both cut from the same cloth, but it was
'Cause they're
just so
both like,
interesting to me. Yeah, like it just sounded to me like, I could tell that those two have spent time together, as
Right.
they talk about their own philosophy of running. And
Yeah.
so I thought that was super cool. I was like, man, this sounds a lot like what Kelsey would say. And I just thought that was kind of cool because he coaches her. So I thought that was great.
Yeah. No, it's true. It talking to folks like him and like Kelsey when we talk to her, it makes me realize that I need to take more time to appreciate what I'm doing when I'm out running. You know what I mean? Like when he was talking about maybe you had some other stress in your life and you don't need to run that section of what you can normally do in an hour and a half or whatever. Maybe you just need to go out and enjoy being out there. And I feel like I don't do that enough. Like
Yeah.
I go out and I get my training run. It's like, okay, I have to drive to Woolstook today, and I have to run up to the top of the small mountain that is the mountain that I think's big, which is generally actually small. When you ask anyone else, it's a small trail, but it's big for me. And so you go up to Kelly's point, it's like I don't even take the time to appreciate it. I go up there, I snap a picture for the Instagram maybe, and then I'm gone again, and I'll do another hill repeat. It's like maybe instead of having that attitude, I need to have more like I get to drive to Woolstook and I have this beautiful park 10 minutes from my house that I can run in
Yeah.
and get good training in and then try to just appreciate it more for where I'm at. So,
Yeah.
it's funny. And I appreciated his chat around stress leading up to races.
Yeah.
Not something
That's
I
for
would have
you.
ever
I went into
have
that
ever
just
even
thinking
thought
about
about.
you.
I know, right? Not something I would have even thought about. It's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But like, yeah, it makes sense once you hear it said, and you're like getting hyped up for a super long run, and or then all the other stressors that are building up there,
Yeah.
how they can actually affect your ability to run, which
Yeah.
to me the two should be separate, but I can see where they're not, right? So
Yeah.
anyway,
I mean,
I took a lot out of the chat for sure.
it was like that whole nervous system thing. I think we could probably spend a whole episode just talking about that
Sure.
because that fight, flight or fawn, I mean, those things are super real. And I thought too, just the way that you're able to think about how, like for me, I don't have the natural love of running. There are some people who just love to run and enjoy that. That is not me. Like, it's not one of those things. There are byproducts of running that I really love. There are aspects that are tangent to running that I really like, but
Right.
the act of running itself is not something that gives me like a huge amount of joy. And so I'm just like, yeah, okay, that makes more sense when you talk about your why, because like it's not because it's running. Like that's not the why for me. It's the other things.
Yeah.
And that helped me connect with something deeper than just like, oh, I love just spending all this energy out in the woods. Like, no, I don't. That's not me.
Right. Right. When your motivation is the hamburger, you don't have to
Yeah.
run to get it. You could just go to McDonald's and get a
I
hamburger,
know,
right? So
man. Yeah,
it's not the running,
exactly.
it's the
Right?
hamburger. Yeah.
Yeah. And that only carries you so far until
Right.
you get to so tapping into that bigger why, I think, is just super powerful and allows you to kind of push through some of those things when you're like, okay, this is really why I want to do it. So just hearing him just goes to show, like, oftentimes people are like, I can't afford a coach, or I can't do, I'm not good enough to be coached. But just hearing him talk, can't you just see the difference between like what a coach would do to help you versus just trying to do it from Chat GPT, like we've tried to do, in the past? Like it's just worlds apart.
Worlds apart. worlds apart. And then talking to him after we did our recording and just seeing how genuine of a person he is. Like, I mean, it's just, I guess to be a coach, you have to be that type of person, and we're doing a lot of work with Adam right now, and he's been great. But yeah, I guess up until now, I've only talked to two coaches, Adam and John. So I guess a Devin too, but we didn't talk a lot about coaching with Devin, right? But the reality is, like, I would have never even dreamt that that regular people would have athletic or running coaches, but here we are. And if you're thinking
Yeah.
of one, there's some good options out there. We can
Yeah,
introduce you
for
to
sure.
3. And if you need someone to like test out different personalities, like that was one thing John said, like people have to mesh. You have to, as he said, swipe right when it comes to coaching, right? So at the end of the day, like you're sitting there thinking maybe I should have a coach or maybe I shouldn't. Well, there's 3 coaches that we've talked to regularly that you can test different personalities out and see what fits. And right now, there's some pretty good options right out there for people.
Yeah, for sure. So I think it'll be worth your while, listeners, if you're on the fence about a coach, don't hesitate. I think it makes a world of difference just to have someone in your corner. You know what I mean? Like cheering you on. It can be lonely and it can be discouraging. And so just having someone who's there to kind of say, hey, that kind of stuff happens. Let's keep going. And so that's the beautiful thing about coaching. So whether you have a coach or whether you don't have a coach, thanks so much for taking the time to listen to our second episode of season 4. In the meantime, everyone, keep on chasing the trail.